no one is talking about this when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers and their play as of late. We will recap last night's game against the Chicago Blackhawks in a game that pretty much just had about everything in an Oiler win. But if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you do so. We just hit 2,500 subscribers, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button for any and all Oiler news. And before we get into the action, folks, today's video is brought to you by Koho. Are you tired of the same old banking experience? If so, it's time to check out Koho. Koho is Canada's leading fintech alternative to traditional banking, designed to help you spend smarter, save better, and even build your credit all in one super and simple, easy-to-use app. Koho is a Canadian company that offers 4% interest on your entire balance, and this is a non-promotional rate, which means it's one of the highest interest rates in Canada. Yes, with Koho, you can earn up to 2% cash back on everyday spending like groceries, eating out, in transportation. But it doesn't stop there. Koho makes building credit easier than ever before, and the average Koho user sees their credit score rise by 22 points in just 3 months. Plus, there are no hidden fees. You can earn up to 4% interest on your balance and even get a cash advance of up to $250 interest free. Koho makes managing your money fun and effortless, and the best part is your funds in a Koho account are insured by the Canada Deposit Insurance Corporation, or CDIC, up to $100,000 Canadian. Are you ready to take control of your finances? Click the link in the description or the pinned comment and use code Oilers20. Again, the code is Oilers20 to get a $20 Canadian dollar reward when you sign up and add $20 to your account. Check them out. And again, thank you to Koho for sponsoring this video. Again, thank you to Koho for sponsoring the video. Of course, you can get savings with Koho, and yesterday the Oilers were saved by Zach Hyman as they took on the Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, Bubble Hyman saves the day, as the Oilers did take that one last night by a score of 4-3 on Hockey Night in Canada. You can see there 4-3 against, a team against Chicago that is not quite good, but the Oilers kind of continuing pattern where they are continuing off slow against, teams that aren't very that good, as the Hawks made it 2-0 in the first period with goals from Teuvo Teravainen and Nick Foligno. The first Teravainen goal, off of a very nice pass from Jason Dickinson, and Teravainen all alone in the slot. And again, another wacky bounce here for the Hawks onto the stick of Nick Foligno, making it 2-0 in the second period, almost a minute or halfway through a minute in there. Vasily Podkolzin off of a very nice pass from Victor Arvidsson and Leon Draisaitl. That second line continuing to be on fire for the Oilers. Ryan Donato makes it 3-1 for the Hawks off of a very wacky player in the Oilers zone where they were unable to clear. The puck finds a way onto Ryan Donato's stick, making it 3-1. But the Oilers with 3 unanswered, with some very, very impressive and much needed depth scoring. A tip from Adam Henrique off the stick of Ty Emberson from the point. Corey Perry making it 3-3 heading into the third period. And on the power play, Bubble Hyman. Yes, Zach Hyman still wearing that bubble on his helmet, even though he had broke his nose not even a month ago, with the game winner, making up 4-3 Oilers in the victory. Of course, not a very scary game for the Edmonton Oilers, but one where you expected them to, play with, the gusto they had against Pittsburgh, ending that game and continuing it into Chicago last night, but that was not the case. But you know what? An ugly win is better than an ugly loss. Shots on goal 34-22 in favor of the Oilers, so of course they didn't lose their offensive touch there. Again, after the first period, they continued the tradition of, dominating the last 40 minutes, going 1-for-1 on the power play with that Hyman goal and stifling the Hawks on their only power play chance to end off the game. It was 6-on-4. They had pulled Arvid Soderblom there, made it 6-on-4 after a very controversial play there. Matthias Janmark was on his way towards the empty net, had his stick yanked, no call was made, and then Adam Henrique took a very ill-timed high sticking call. But the Oilers in Calvin Pickard did get the win, and Zach Hyman had his thoughts on the win. Not everyone can be a blowout win. He said, we play 82 games. We're not going to win every game. You got to be able to find a way to win, crawl out of a game, have different guys stepping up. You got to find many ways to win. You got to nip losing. You don't want to lose 2 in a row. We are on a good stretch, and on a good stretch they are. The Pittsburgh game, a little bit of an outlier after the 4-0 Boston domination. So you know what? The Oilers not in a bad spot, and you can see there the chart there from Natural Stat Trick with the Hawks and the Oilers. The Oilers after the first period, again, same same routine as it was against Pittsburgh, dominated the last 40 minutes. Second period, they were all over the Hawks there. And then the third period, a little bit more even, but still, the Oilers should have found a way to, put that one away a lot sooner than they should have. But again, I can't really complain too much. It's a win. A win is a win when it comes to the, again, more analytics here, the hockey stat card. Fantastic game all around from guys like Leon Draisaitl, Vasily Podkolzin, Troy Stecher with a sneaky good game last night. Of course, he was scratched the last two games in favor of Josh Brown. No idea why that was the case, but Stecher finding his way back into the lineup and finding a way to ensure that he stays in the lineup. It was a pretty solid game all around for most of the Oilers D-core. Bouchard, pretty good game. Matisse Ekholm, great game. But Nurse and Kulak, which, is kind of surprising because Kulak has been, one of the Oilers' most consistent defensemen so far this year, but it almost seems to be like his deployment is, hurting him a little bit. You can see there the time on ice per games played, 1750 so far. It's his highest average in his career. He was mostly, a bottom four or bottom pairing defenseman in Calgary, in Montreal, and at the beginning with Edmonton, but of course thrust into a higher role. So you almost wonder if that's taking a toll here when it comes to the end of last season. Rather, he was only playing 20 minutes. I do believe he was less than 5 times last year, and then you compare that to, this season, you can see there on the far right, the Tom on ice playing 20 minutes almost every single night. So you have to almost wonder if, the Oilers, with their, their wish list, if they're going after, a right side defenseman, more than they should with any other thing. I know many are clamoring for a fourth line center, but they have no Philip in Bakersfield. Just call him up, asking to trade for a goaltender. But again, with the two they have right now, I don't think, a guy like John Gibson, sure, he might be a little bit of an upgrade, but it comes at the price of, having Anaheim, a division rival, or another team in your division, asking far too much. But Calvin Pickard, when it also comes to goaltending, had a pretty poor first period, but he stuck it through the rest of the game. He said, I think it's safe to say the goalie was no good there for a while, sort of poking fun at himself, while also realizing he has a chance to get much better. I didn't like the way I started at all. Down 2-0, I was a little bit dopey, and there's no excuse for that. The third one I can live with, but yeah, we played well, and the silver lining was I kind of stuck with it and made a couple saves at the end, but I need to be better off the get-go for sure. And then Leon Draisaitl had other things to say. He said he was really great the last 40 minutes and even all game. Teravainen's one-timer from the slot, that can go in on anybody. So I thought he was great all night. And of course, Pickard with an 864 last night, an 864 and a win. Can't really complain about that. Of course, it might make it seem like I'm complaining, but again, ugly win is better than an ugly loss. And Pickard, his past couple starts, sure, hasn't been the greatest, but he makes $1 million a year. You can't ask any more from your backup goaltender with only one win, or one loss, I should say, rather, pardon me, in his last 5. And then the Boston one, he was only in there for 5 minutes. But, good games against, the Sharks, and had a pretty solid game for the most part against Seattle. Sure, there might have been one goal that he wanted back, but again, a backup is a backup. You can't expect him to come into the game guns a-blazing. Kris Knoblauch had, the exact same thing as well. He said, anytime you win more than you lose, you're going to be happy. But every NHL team goes through difficult stretches with travel and backs-to-backs. We got some coming up, but with the time zones and stuff like that, every team goes through it, and I felt we did as well as we could have, and exactly that, because the Oilers will be heading into death row next week with royalty awaits. Yes, they have the off day today, and they are back at it again at home tomorrow against the Los Angeles Kings on Sportsnet, who the Kings did lose to the Flames last night, losing 2-1, and also the Rangers beat the Golden Knights 2-1, so the Oilers sort of, catching ground on Vegas while also trying to, have Los Angeles in the rear view mirror as well, as both teams, sort of yo-yoing their way throughout the Pacific Division. The Oilers only 4 points back of Vegas and 2 points ahead of Los Angeles. So tomorrow night will be pretty much a 4-point game for both teams tomorrow night. And, other than Los Angeles, you have this to look forward to. Los Angeles at home, and then you are back on the road for 3 straight with Minnesota, Colorado, Vancouver, and one of the best teams in the National Hockey League so far this season, the Washington Capitals and Alexander Ovechkin. So, that is that is a daunting 5 games ahead, but the Oilers, they've gotten into far worse. So that is it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about last night's game, what you think about the Oilers goaltending as a whole. Do you think, just ride the wave with them and try to acquire some other targets at the deadline, or call up Olivia Rodrigue from the AHL. Let me know down in the comments, and also let me know what you think about this upcoming stretch for the Oilers. That is it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe and check out Coho in the pinned comment or the description down below. Have yourselves a fantastic Sunday, and we will be back tomorrow for a Kings Oilers preview, which should be a fantastic one. Take care. I'm Matt.